Ladies and gentlemen, you're all invited to go mental on this mother drop. The countdown has just begun. Are you ready?
What's up, you guys? When I put up my video, there was something that I wanted to talk about. I know the voiceover seemed kind of rushed and indirect. I wanted to talk to you guys about something really important artistically. I thought it'd be a little more effective if I looked the part when I talked about it. So today's video is going to be on style. Don't worry, no, I won't be leaving the house with the bandana and a suit on. That's not my swag. Regarding style, I get a bunch of questions on a regular basis. Questions like, oh, you kind of draw like so-and-so, how'd you do that? Or, oh, I want to get a style similar to yours and I don't know where to start. The thing about it is, style, when you're talking about art or when you're talking about fashion, the key to style, generally, all style really is what rules you choose to ignore. That's it. There are plenty of people who have very distinct art styles. You think a Joe Mad, a Chris Bachalo, Ryan Otley, Adam and Andy Kubert, a whole bunch of guys, you look at their work and you immediately know that's so-and-so. The reason that is those guys know enough about the rule to go, well, I think this works out for me, but I don't really like the way this goes. The way you mix up your proportions, be that way you light a figure, the way, the kinds of angles that you use. This is where people's influences start to show through, because usually where we pick up style from taking bits and pieces of other artists and the parts of their work that we like and incorporating it into our own. I personally don't feel that I have a distinct art style, not in the slightest. I think I have a very commercial friendly art style because I do lean towards the more cartoony. Personally, I'd say I fall somewhere in between the lines of anime and comics, but I personally don't think that my art style is indistinguishable, as I mentioned, from other people's styles. So what I recommend to those of you who are striving to find that unique style, that unique niche, to put your voice in your work and make that work completely you. Learn the rules. Learn all of the rules. Learn all the perspective rules. Learn all the anatomy rules. Learn all the lighting rules. Learn all the do's and don'ts. And then break them. For example, so as I was saying, I am Dominican. My family's from the Dominican Republic, and in the Dominican Republic, dancing is a big deal, especially for men. If you want to be that dude, you got to know how to dance. It's, you know, our way of getting girls. It's our way of like silent communication, if you will. So dance is a really big deal. And in the Dominican Republic, there's two primary styles of dance. You have merengue, which is fast and dynamic, and then you have bachata, which is a 3-step kick combo. So those are the two primary styles of dancing, and dancing is a huge deal in DR. I was lucky enough to be raised in a family full of women. When I learned to dance, my cousin Charlie and my cousin Kelvin, we were kind of like the little heartbreakers of the family, because we were all around the same age. All the women in our family were older, but we had no qualms about being in the dance floor, you know, in the middle of all the adults. Whereas most kids, at least in my experience, most kids, when there is a family get-together, a family party, it's usually two distinct parties. It's the kids in one room playing, you know, whatever video games, being loud and jumping, and it's the adults in the living room doing whatever it is that they. In our family, it was real different. We were really close that way. So me, Charlie, and Christian, me, Charlie, and Kelvin all learned to dance around the same time. We would dance with all the adults. All our my mom has a ton of sisters, and we have a bunch of cousins, and our family is really big. So there was always somebody to dance with. Me, Charlie, and Kelvin all learned to dance around the same time, but we went about it very differently. I have always been a do my own thing kind of person ever since I was a kid. Charlie, who at the time was a better dancer than me, was very by the book. This is how you dance bachata, this is how you dance merengue, this is how you dance salsa, etc., etc. And Calvin was somewhere in the middle. I was always trying to find a way to blend the two. When I was a kid, bachata was very different. It was slower, and it was more I guess romantic. Is it was more about like getting close and really getting it in. I always wanted to find a way to make bachata more dynamic, so I would start incorporating spins and turns and like two steps and other, because I grew up breakdancing. So I always learned that breaking the rules was kind of a natural thing. I always threw in all these crazy steps and turns. Charlie was like, "What are you doing? Like, that's not how you do it." Lo and behold, a few years later, now the way I was dancing when I was a kid is the primary way the bachata gets danced. Bachata is now a lot faster, a lot more dynamic. There's a lot more spins and turns and like partner work and musicality that goes into it. So the point of the story is I kind of developed my own style. At the time, I developed my own style. Lo and behold, that style kind of caught on, and it's its own thing now. That's the same kind of advice that I'm going to give you guys about art. Learn it the right way. Get trained traditionally. Learn to figure draw. Learn to draft. Learn to do all the things that you need to do in order to know the rules well enough to know which ones you like and which ones you don't like. I often hear a lot of people make the comparison of like, "Oh, I love comic books, but I don't like manga." Manga is just Japanese comics. They have a different style, absolutely, and that's because they know the rules and they know which ones to break. Their proportions are a little bit different, but their action is also a lot more dynamic in most cases, which is why I've always kind of leaned towards the guys who blend the two. I've always kind of looked for that let's break the rule scenario. I've always looked for my moment to break the rules. With all that being said, learn the rules, know the rules, break the rules, and you got your own style. I hope this helped someone somehow. I was just kind of flying off the top of the head. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys next week. War got out.
Let's go. So we're back from the dead.